Hello Capricorn, and welcome to Sincere Tarot, where you get the raw, honest truth. This is your April 2020 forecast. And if you would like for me to deliver content that's based a little bit more on what's going on around the world right now, please comment below. And if you've got any ideas, let me know, because I have a bit more time on my hands at the moment. And if you would like for me to create different content from the usual, I would love to do that, so let me know. Okay, so your theme for April 2020 is the Three of Cups. So that's celebration and like hanging out with people, like close friends, close family, and just like enjoying one another's time together. So you might be spending a bit more time. It could be actual drinking and just kind of celebrating, partying a little bit, going to particular events. And I know that it could also be virtual as well, connecting with people and just having a good time and enjoying life, because you know, you got to once in a while, no matter what's going on. All right, so let's see what's going on for the rest of the month. And I've got 3 different decks. I've got my Tarot of the Cat deck, oh interesting, Tarot of the Thoth deck, and and my Mystic Mondays deck, representing what's happening on the surface, beneath the surface, and advice cards for each week of the month. Make sure you definitely stick around until the end, where you pick your own destiny cards and you use your intuition to get a little bit more detail. I put that down, so I feel like I'm just gonna leave that one. Okay, so let's get those advice cards. And if you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Really helps me out a lot, and I appreciate it. And if you would like, follow me, social media, personal reading, all that's in the information below. Okay, so let's see what is going on. Okay, I don't necessarily see like a whole bunch of physical movement, like maybe a little bit, but not drastically. Interesting. So first I'll show you first I'll show you the card that like kind of came out. It was the Hierophant, so let's just call this another like theme or clarifying card. But the Hierophant is creating order amongst chaos. It can also be like looking at things from a higher perspective. Connection of the divine to our three-dimensional world, forgiveness, being extremely wise when it comes, but that wisdom is not so much from experience, but more from learning, educating oneself, and also obviously can be like religion, spiritual practice, but also, the religion or spiritual practice of your ancestry, things like that. It could be like, your, spirit guides, ancestors watching down on you, helping things out because they love you and they care about you. So, all right, interesting. Okay, so during the first week of the month, let's see what we've got. Oh, this is cool. So first week, on the surface, we've got the Page of Wands. Beneath the surface, we've got art, which is also known as Temperance in other decks. And your advice card is the Princess of Pentacles. So it looks like we've got, so because this is a page, this could be a few things. It could be a message about like a goal, an aspiration, an opportunity, something that lights you up, new ideas, things like that. It could also, it could very easily just be like the very start of a new idea, because this is the page. It's not a knight, it's not a queen or a king, it's just the start. So it could also be like, it's like the beginning, the very beginning of something, like, like the baby or a child is the beginning of your life, for example. This also could be something to do with a child or a baby, something like that. So, I mean, everyone's different. This is a general reading, so you have to pick what's true for you. Now, this is cool. This message, this information, this clarification, this light in the dark, this awareness, this spark, I feel like is going to create balance within you. Like this new information, I feel like you're not going to reject it, but you're not going to like completely take it in. You're going to blend it with what you know. So forgive this analogy, but like I love a curry. So it's almost like getting a whole bunch of turmeric and blending it with the cumin, and then you get something even better than before. So it's mixing, it's blending, it's balance, it's maybe creating you to be a little bit more patient, thinking about the long-term outcome, because taking in this new information. You are going to need to blend it with your ideology, belief system, the way that you do things like that. And this is cool. Your advice card is the Princess of Pentacles, and the Princess of Pentacles is saying to take this information. Like, this could very well be an idea, an opportunity that, you know, it's just the start. But the Princess of Pentacles is saying, like, okay, yeah, you've got this idea, you've got this opportunity. Let's turn it into something realistic. How are you going to actually move forward with that on a day-to-day basis? So the Princess of Pentacles as an advice card is all about taking ideas, new information, and practically applying them. Turning an idea into an actual physical reality. So she's able to really like take this idea and physically manifest it in a practical, sensible way. That's cool. All right, second week. I feel like second week is when you're mostly going to be chillaxing and partying, because look at this. We have got the Three of Cups again, and that's on the surface. Three of Cups. Beneath the surface, we've got adjustment, also known as justice, and in other decks. And then your advice card is the World. Okay, so I feel like with the Three of Cups, you know, you are celebrating, you're relaxing, you're hanging out with friends and family, people who you know you can totally be yourself around. And, you know, I feel like overall, it's probably like a well-deserved break. I mean, I don't know exactly what you've been doing before, but, you know, you're enjoying your time, and that's a big part of life, to enjoy the good things in life and have some little celebrations, things like that. And beneath the surface, I feel like, I guess you do need to find this time to do that, to balance things out, because underneath the surface, we've got adjustment. So I feel like you're getting a more objective, balanced viewpoint, perspective. That does line up with, you know, temperance beneath the surface, kind of coming to balance. And this is more like being in balance. So, and just being very clear and rational and thinking with your head about the bigger perspective. So that's cool. And I feel like maybe you are celebrating because you've completed something. Your advice card is the World. So that's saying, you know, that it's like the end of a chapter. You know, you've completed this, you're successful, and you should celebrate. And also, it could also mean actual travel, but like it could just be like moving on, like emotionally or mentally, things like that, to the next thing. But yeah, it could be actual physical movement, switching things up, but it can also just kind of be a reminder that the world is your oyster, and, you know, you've accomplished this, so you can accomplish even more. Okay, so interesting. During the third week, on the surface, we've got the Page of Cups. Beneath the surface, we've got the Knight of Discs or Pentacles, and your advice card is the Nine of Cups, also known as the Wish card. So during the third week, I feel like, you know, you're kind of like relaxing and you're content, but you're probably not enjoying yourself exactly as much as you were during the second week. You might be kind of thinking about like what's next. You might be getting a message. There might be an unexpected message, a love message, or an opportunity for something that is emotionally fulfilling. But yeah, it might be a message that, you know, comes out. Maybe it's from another, well, male potentially. And the Knight of Discs, I feel like beneath the surface, I think overall you feel grounded, but with these two cards, I kind of am getting a vibe of just like, what should are like, me, I feel so bad, I feel this way, that you're not looking at one another and thinking about, you know, how the other person's feeling. It's kind of like, sometimes people can go in, and it's normal, okay? When people get upset, they can go into kind of like selfish mode, because they're just thinking about themselves and their sadness, not the people. It's harder to be empathetic when you're really upset. And I feel like beneath the surface, we've got the Seven of Swords, futility. So like, this is mainly like a mental or verbal or written, typed battle that it's like, what's the point? Like, I think you might just be better off giving up. Like, if you're arguing with someone else, or potentially a group of people, like, even if you're mainly arguing with one other person, you know, sometimes you can argue with them and then all their friends or all their family kind of joins in, and it's like, the odds are against you, you know what I mean? And I feel like you're kind of like beginning to think, you know, that you can't fight anymore, and is this worth fighting anymore? Because you're not going to win. There's too many people you're up against, and it's like just going to be very mentally and like energetically draining, you know? But your advice is the Hanged Woman, which means, you know what, you're stuck in this situation and it's not a fun situation, but I don't see you going anywhere, at least not physically. Just ride it out, stick with this. I'm not saying that this relationship will work out, I'm not saying it won't, but like, the Hanged Woman is saying, stick around and you'll get a new perspective and you'll learn a lot from, rather than running away or fighting the situation. That maybe you need to kind of stick around, see what happens, so that you can, you know, learn and gain the wisdom that you need to know. Yeah, so comment below, like, who is this person, do you think? I feel like there's going to be some emotional stuff happening for most of the month, at least on the surface with all those cups. But like, that's interesting. Like, what's this new information that you're potentially getting? Have you been partying a little bit too much? Maybe kind of ignoring a certain relationship or neglecting it a little bit? Maybe not really realizing it, thinking things are okay, but then boom, suddenly not as good as you thought. So yeah, let me know. I love reading your comments so much. Okay, so pick a number, 1, 2, or 3. You are going to pick your destiny cards. All right, if you picked one, let's see what we've got. Oh. Ooh, okay. Oh my gosh. So if you picked one, on the surface, we've got the World again, and you had that for your advice card during the second week. You also have beneath the surface the Knight of Swords, and your advice card is the 5 of Pentacles. Okay, so I feel like maybe so either you physically moved, or you're thinking of moving, or you've been on holiday, or you have closed a chapter and you're celebrating it, and maybe you are kind of like rushing into the next thing too fast. This is super, the Knight of Swords is very fast movement, and kind of like moves without really thinking, because they're so focused on this one thing, or so determined to get this one thing, that they've got like mentally they've got blinders on, right? And maybe it's a part of you wanting to ignore like a certain lesson, because your advice is the 5 of Pentacles, and the 5 of Pentacles is to say, look at the pattern. Look at, you know, this situation. I feel it's most likely has to do with this relationship where there's difficulty during the 4th week. I feel like the 5 of Pentacles is saying, look at the pattern. Have you felt in a similar way with this person before, with other relationships before you? And this pattern might go all the way back to your childhood. I feel like you need to actually look at this pattern all the way back to your childhood. You might be trying to ignore it and moving on to the next thing, but you're being told that you need to seriously sit down and look at the tough things, look at why previous relationships ended or had really difficult situations in them. You really need to look at it clearly, and you need to sit with it, and you need to like study and understand the pattern, and it's going to be painful to do that, but you're being told you need to do that. Otherwise, the pattern might continue. Whew, okay, if you pick 2, let's see what we've got. Ooh, okay. All right, so if you pick 2, on the surface, we've got the 8 of Wands, beneath the surface, the Ace of Cups, and advice card, the Princess of Cups. Okay, so let's see, do we have, yeah, we've got some cups most of the week. So your advice card as the 8 of Cups is that, like, whatever, it's the information that comes up most likely during the first week is you're going to be so busy. You know, you've got a lot on your plate, and, you know, maybe you should ask some people for help, but you probably won't. But you can manage this for now, just not forever. But this is cool because beneath the surface, we've got the Ace of Cups. So, like, there is a new opportunity that's emotionally fulfilling, and maybe that's why you're able to work so hard and accomplish so much, and you've got all this energy. So that's absolutely fantastic. And your advice is actually the Princess of Cups. So the Princess of Cups is telling you that you need to be a little bit more intuitive. We've got the Moon there. So, like, thinking about subconsciously, you know, what do you want, and getting those messages from the subconscious to the conscious. So you can maybe be interpreting your dreams, paying attention to synchronicities. When you've got this card, there are no coincidences. They're all nudges from your guides, so definitely listen. Yeah, so just be open to receiving the messages that are coming your way, going with the flow, listening to your intuition. Because I feel like when you're so busy, go, it's kind of hard to get in touch with this. But, like, you've got this new pure potential being birthed within you. It's time to pay attention so that you can figure out where you want to go with this. It's not just about getting things done. It's also about doing things that are emotionally fulfilling for you. Okay, if you pick 3, let's see what we've got. Ooh, this is exciting. Okay, if you pick 3, on the surface, we've got the Queen of Pentacles. Beneath the surface, we've got the 2 of Discs, change, also Pentacles. And your advice is the Chariot, so that's cool. So we've got, I feel like you're the type of person, you know what you want, you're sensible, you're practical, you're probably good with money, probably a good business person, at least half decent with maths, probably. Good with investments, stuff like that. Probably treat your body well, cook nice meals, etc. Probably have a nice home. Anyways, well, you at least keep things together and organized. Very sensible, practical person. Can be very nurturing too. And what's cool is what's happening beneath the surface is we've got the 2 of Discs, change. So I feel like things are kind of in flux. Things could go one way or the other. It's really just what you want to do. There's a balance, a transition within right now. But things could go one way or the other, right? And your advice is the Chariot. So the Chariot just goes for what they want. And they figure out what they want and they go for it. So, like, you might be kind of like wavering between, like, different options about, like, work, money, how you're going to make your money, where you're going to live, stuff like that. And the Chariot is telling you, you gotta just pick something and go for it, go for it, go for it. Cool. And that might potentially happen during the second week, possibly, because during the second week we've got the World for your advice card, okay? All right, if you'd like a private reading, send me an email or check out my website. That's all in the information below. You can follow me on social media, and I do monthly and mid-monthly videos, so definitely check them all out. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, comment below. What do you think of the reading? Did it resonate with you? Love reading your comments, most of them. And yeah, but I do overall, like, appreciate what you guys write, and it means a lot. And if you are still here, you get a bonus card. Okay, let's see. Secret bonus card. All right. Oh, I just threw that one out. Should I lift it up? Oh, cool. We've got the Hierophant. So you can create the life that you want and the order that you want, no matter what's going on around you. Just remember to keep looking at things from a higher perspective, and to be forgiving, and just knowing that every single lesson that you have is for a reason, and also increases your ability to sort shit out. The more things that get upheaved in your life, the better you are at organizing and creating stability. So that's very good. Have a great month. I'll do one more. Oh, Eight of Cups. Also, you want to think about what you want to do in the long run that will be emotionally fulfilling, because you can't do things that don't have a deep meaning. You need things to be emotionally fulfilling or it won't work out in the long run. Just remember that. Have a great month. Bye.